Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now this massive Bitcoin warning signal is still flashing on the chart while the price is now entering into a new phase in the market, while billions of dollars of liquidations are piling up to the upside, revealing massive short positions that have just opened recently, while Ethereum is still running into this critical area of support. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the 3-day Bitcoin chart, and over the last 1 day, nothing has really changed on this chart right here. So as of right now, the price of Bitcoin is technically still in a larger bullish trend on the larger timeframes. And if you want to know more about this chart right here and the difference between different timeframes, considering nothing has really changed on the larger timeframes over the last 1 day, then make sure to watch my last video here on the channel if you want to know more about this chart and different timeframes. And something similar can be said about this 3-day Bitcoin chart, because over the last 1 day, this chart as well has not really changed all that much. And so at least as of right now, we still have a potential inverse head and shoulders pattern that is forming right now. But as of right now, and as I've been saying here on the channel, we still need to actually confirm a breakout with a candle close on this 3-day Bitcoin chart above the neckline in order to actually confirm the price target, which, by the way, the price target for this pattern would be sitting at around 86 to 87,000. But once again, only if we first confirm a breakout above this resistance, which at least as of right now has not happened. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, as of right now, we're still seeing that spike to the upside in the DXY, which, as I mentioned in my last video, is an early warning signal for Bitcoin. So technically speaking, this is a bit of a bearish signal for the price of Bitcoin, at least in the short term. Because generally speaking, when the DXY is bullish, that is very often bearish for Bitcoin and crypto, and vice versa. When the DXY is bearish, that is very often bullish for Bitcoin and crypto. But once again, like I explained yesterday, at least for now, even though we're seeing this early warning signal with a spike to the upside in the DXY, this is not necessarily enough confirmation fully confirming that the DXY is officially reversing into a bullish trend after this previous bearish trend. Because obviously, as we've seen here over the last 1 month, there's been multiple times where the DXY has had a bit of a short-term spike to the upside, which in the immediate short term has coincided with some bearish price action for Bitcoin. But ultimately, while the DXY is still forming lower highs and lower lows, at least for now, this can still remain within a bearish trend. And once again, during this bearish trend, we can see short-term pumps, just like how during this bullish trend in the price of Bitcoin, from time to time, we can see short-term dumps. And so that is the situation right now. Once again, we have an early warning signal, but not yet fully confirmed a bearish trend reversal for Bitcoin. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, as I've actually been saying for a couple of weeks now on the channel, the price is still chopping around relatively sideways in between this choppy sideways price range, in between this area of support and this area of resistance. And this area of support is sitting in between around 67,000 to 68,000. And this resistance zone is sitting in between around 72,000 to 74,000. And as we've seen here multiple times, these areas of support and resistance have been holding up very well as support and resistance. And so at least for now, those are still the important areas to pay attention to on the chart. And as of right now, while the price is still in between those areas, in between this support and this resistance, we're actually looking relatively neutral just in the shorter term here on the daily time frame, while the price is basically in a sideways price range. But obviously, this sideways price range right here is made up of short-term bullish and short-term bearish movements pretty much every single day. But if we're zooming into the 2-hour Bitcoin chart, just in the imminent short term here, I've mapped out the areas where we have a weekend in the price of Bitcoin, a Saturday and a Sunday, and we can see that usually over the weekend, we have relatively low volatility. And now, of course, from time to time, especially towards the end of the weekend, the volatility starts picking up a little bit. But during the weekend, for the most part, that is the area of the least volatility that we see in the price of Bitcoin. And generally speaking, the largest volatile moves, at least in the short term here in the price of Bitcoin, occur during the week on the weekdays. And so obviously right now, because it's the weekend, we should be expecting relatively low volatility, just very small fluctuations in the price of Bitcoin. But honestly, I would not necessarily expect a massive movement in the price of Bitcoin over the next one day or so. But potentially right towards the end of the weekend, or as we approach the new week, we could start seeing more volatility then, perhaps in around a day or two from now. But essentially, don't be surprised if we just see relatively boring price action, just some choppy sideways price action over the next one day or so, because that would be perfectly normal to see based on what we've previously seen over weekends. And so as of right now, when it comes to my Bitcoin trading strategy, nothing has really changed over the last one day. So of course, in my last video, I mentioned that previously I took a little bit of profits off the table for this Bitcoin long position. But since yesterday, this position has not changed. So it is still a $100,000 Bitcoin long position with my stop loss in profits. And so essentially at this point with this trade right here, this is a win-win scenario. If the price dumps, then I've already taken some profits off the table and my stop loss is in profits, which would close the rest of the trade in profits if the price dumps further. But if the price pumps, then obviously I'd continue to profit from this existing long position, the part that I still have open. And of course, the profits were taken into Bitcoin, which would also increase in value if the price pumps. And as I mentioned in my last video just yesterday, if the price of Bitcoin pulls back a little bit further in this sideways price range and then finds support around this same area of support at around 67 to 68,000, then personally in my situation, I may look to add to this long position, simply increase the size of the position if we pull back a little bit lower and actually bounce from that area, start finding support again around that area. But as always, that is not personal financial advice for you because I don't know your personal financial situation. I'm just being transparent as always with my trading strategy, letting you know day in and day out what I'm doing with my own money to actually make a lot of easy profits in crypto. And if you also want to take trades just like this for yourself, then personally, I'm taking this trade right here over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it will take you to this page right here where you can claim an exclusive 200 USDT airdrop position just by making a Bybit account using that link, making a deposit and claiming the airdrop. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is also Bitflex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitflex. And so I'll also make sure to leave a link to Bitflex down below this video as an alternative crypto exchange. And if we're taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, we can see just recently, over the last 1 to 2 days or so, we've actually seen billions of dollars of short positions suddenly open up here for the price of Bitcoin because we now have billions of dollars of liquidations starting to pile to the upside. And of course, any liquidations that are above the price of Bitcoin would essentially mean short positions getting liquidated if the price goes to the upside above those levels. And pretty much all of those liquidations, the vast majority of those liquidations are sitting right at around 72.2K to 72.4K. So basically in between around 72 to 72,500. And once again, right around there, we have billions of dollars of liquidations now building up here in the liquidation heat map, which is a big deal to pay attention to because obviously if the price of Bitcoin crosses above those levels, that will liquidate those billions of dollars of short positions, which could push the price a lot higher in a short squeeze if we start breaking out above those levels. And so, of course, this is a similar scenario that I explained around half a week ago, close to 1 week ago now, when I was talking about this massive inverse head and shoulders pattern and a potential breakout that could take us towards around 86 to 87,000. And since then, nothing has really changed on this 3-day Bitcoin chart because obviously, as I explained back then, we still need to confirm a breakout above this resistance in order to actually confirm that massive bullish scenario. And so in the meantime, we're still struggling around this critical area of resistance. We have not confirmed that price target or that massive bullish scenario, but if we start breaking out above this resistance, then we can start playing out that massive bullish scenario. And if we're taking a quick look at the Bitcoin and crypto funding rates, what's very interesting is over the last 1 day, these funding rates have almost entirely reset back towards neutral, and in some cases even started to go negative again. And so, of course, part of the reason as to why the funding rates have reset over the last 1 to 2 days or so is due to the fact that we did see that short-term dump, which would have taken out a decent amount of long positions just here in the short term. And at the same time, once again, we have a lot of new short positions building up in the market, which are lowering the funding rates. And so overall, the lower the funding rates go, the more bullish that actually is. But at least for now, what we've just seen is the funding rates have basically reset from relatively high now back to relatively neutral. And so they're not really overly bullish or overly bearish, at least as of right now. And with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the daily time frame, and right now we're still seeing a bit of a short-term pullback, but technically speaking, this falling wedge breakout only invalidates if we see a breakback below around 3.2k. So with that being said, we technically still have a price target at around 40.70. But if we're taking a look at this 8-hour Bitcoin chart, right now the price of Bitcoin is still running into this critical area of support based on this Fibonacci area, the golden pocket, and also based on previous resistance and support. And once again, this area is still sitting in between 3.6k to 36.50. And if we break below 3.6k with candle closes below that level, then in that case, obviously that would be a short-term bearish signal pointing towards a move potentially down towards around 34.50. And below that, we have a significant level of support down towards around 3.3k. But at least for now, once again, 3.6k to 36.50 is still the short-term area of support to pay attention to. And as for resistance, in case we see any sort of bounce here back to the upside, then in that case, I would expect resistance at around 38.20, around 38.70, and around 39.50. But at least for now, if we're taking a look at Ethereum versus Bitcoin, this is ETH BTC on the weekly time frame. Right now, Ethereum is still rejecting against Bitcoin from this massive descending line of resistance that has been resistance for nearly 2 years now in this massive bearish trend. And so technically speaking, things are still currently looking bearish on the ETH BTC chart if we're looking at the larger trend at play, which basically means Ethereum is underperforming against Bitcoin. So essentially Bitcoin is doing better than whatever Ethereum is doing, at least at the moment. But ideally for the bulls out there, in order to start actually flipping more bullish on this chart, we need to form some sort of higher low after playing out this pullback that we're seeing right now. And then more importantly, we need to actually break out above this resistance line and ideally above some previous highs here to actually set a new higher high in place on this chart to become more confident that we're actually reversing back into the bullish direction. But obviously, at least as of right now, we have not yet confirmed any of those bullish confirmation signals, which means at least for now, we're technically still looking more bearish than bullish on this chart, especially when we're looking at the trend in the price action. And if we're taking a quick look at the price of Solana on the 8-hour time frame, right now, as of recording this video, the price of Solana is attempting a break to the downside below $160. And if this break to the downside confirms with candle closes below 160, obviously, as I've mentioned recently here on the channel, that would be a short-term bearish signal pointing towards a move potentially down towards this next area of support based on previous support in the price of Solana. And this area of support is sitting in between around 140 to 144. And below that level, if we actually saw a move below around 140, then in that case, we have a major area of support in between around 120 to 128. But at least as of right now, even though the price is attempting a break below 160, we have not yet actually confirmed candle closes below that level. So there's still a possibility that the candle closes could confirm back above 160 if we see a quick move back to the upside very soon. And in that case, we should still find resistance in between around 167 to 172, with more resistance at around 175 and more resistance at around 183 to 187. But ultimately, because ETH BTC is still trending bearish on this chart right here, technically speaking, that usually means a lot of the larger altcoins like Solana are also going to be doing not so good against Bitcoin at the moment. And so at least in the imminent short term here, we're simply looking a little bit more bearish rather than bullish, especially if we confirm candle closes below 160, then we'll be clearly more bearish than bullish, at least in the short term here. But either way, if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, once again, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions and short positions. And the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.